Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Supreme reality, the Supreme God. Yeah, can start reading.
Reality is that which persists, which exists in all periods of time, remains the same in the past, present, and future. Reality exists both as manifest and unmanifest, as structure and substratum. The world arises out of reality, exists in reality, merges ultimately into reality. As waves arise, exist, and merge into the ocean. The waves are nothing but water. So is the world nothing but the reality, Brahman. Brahman is the eternities that cannot be conceived, defined, described. Yet, great souls having realized Brahman have given various indications as to its infinite nature. These serve as pointers to the unknown reality, as arcs in geometry serve to fix the location of a point. An unknown point X is said to be 4 inches from a known point A and 5 inches from another known point B. You can then fix the location of X by striking 2 arcs with a compass measuring 4 and 5 inches respectively from A and B. The intersection of the 2 arcs would be the location of X. Thus, the following indicative definitions help conceptualize to an extent the inconceivable Brahman.
This is the base first. First, he is giving the base. First, he explained the world is Brahman. The pluralistic phenomena that we are experiencing is nothing but Brahman. Exactly like we say the snake that you are seeing is rope. Same way he said that. And then the student would start asking, okay, tell me more about the rope. So the problem here is the moment we ask that same question to Brahman, there is a difficulty. These masters experience this difficulty of communicating what is that Brahman through words. Words cannot provide you that knowledge. But at the same time, they have no other option but to use words to explain, to teach. So they have to use words. Now we cannot say, sir, what about silence? Isn't it? Through words, if it cannot be communicated, then can't be communicated through silence. Even silence, there is a problem. Why? Even in silence, there is a duality, remember. The silence that we know of, there are 2 things. There is silence and I am the one who is experiencing the silence. So there is silence around me. Everything is quiet around me and I am. Earlier you are hearing noise. Now you will be hearing the absence of that sound. Hearing, the absence of sound is what we call as silence. Because silence is, we understand silence only through sound. You cannot understand silence without sound. So, to tell that, I'm going to teach this Brahma Vidya, knowledge of Brahman, I'm going to pass on through silence. That is also not possible. Because the silence that we understand is through this. Exactly like we understand a person to be rich with reference to someone, something called poverty. We say he is intelligent. That means to define a person's intelligence, you need to have a reference point of non-intelligence. He's tall. I had a colleague in the ashram where I studied. He is 6.4. In his house, his brothers used to tease him, it seems, as Chotu. He's 6.4. His brothers, he used to tell, my brothers would tease me. Grow, man, he'd say. You should grow. 6.4, you want to grow further. Now, reference point. Without the reference, it is impossible for us to understand what is being tall. Similarly, without the reference of a sound, we can never understand silence. And for most of us, what is the meaning of silence? Your silence is what? When are you silent? Whenever you are angry, you are silent. Isn't it? When you get angry, when you have a fight in the house, the man gets angry. When he gets angry, what he does? He is quiet. That is a silence you know of. Can you distinguish between that silence out of anger to the silence of indifference? When you are indifferent also, you are silent. When you are angry also, you are silent. When you are peaceful also, you are silent. Then the fellow will start talking poetry. Immediately he will say, sir, the silence will speak its own language. That's a language of silence. Now, can you define? Sir, this is silence out of that. This is silence of this. This is silence of that. Can we? Not possible. So remember, silence cannot be communicating these things. Not the fault of the silence. The problem is, remember, always with reference to the receptacles. The communication problem is not from the master's angle. The communication problem is from our side. We cannot understand their language. We don't understand their language. So what they have to do, they have to learn our language and then teach that in our language. And the problem is, since it is our language and our language is the language of duality, always there is difference. There are two. Now here suddenly they have to, that is why we say communication is not easy for them. In spite of all that, these masters, out of their compassion, they try to explain. They try to communicate the things through these words. How they communicate? Not by defining what is Brahman, but by giving you certain indicative definitions. See, they are just indicators, pointers. like we saw in the last class, Chandra Shaka Nyaya. Right. Now he is giving here geometry. Well, how do you do that? Says if you have to locate a point which is unknown, but then you know 2 points. Point A is known to you, point B is known to you. Then what you do? He says you put an arc. Actually, we used to put a circle. You put full circle. From point A, it is 5 inches. So immediately we take the scale and measure it and then fix it and put a circle. And then from point B, it is 4 inches. Then we take that this one, measure it, and then put another circle. Wherever there is an intersecting point, that is a point of C. There is no direct explanation for that. Directly, they cannot point out, this is the location of C. Cannot be pointed. So what to do? Same way, what he is going to do here is he is giving very many pointers are there. The scriptures give a lot of indicative definitions. Remember, anything given in the Vedas, in the Shastras, is not defining Brahman. They are not defining it individually or collectively. They just give a direction for you to look at. That's all. Exactly like in that example we saw, Chandra Shaka Nyaya, we give a direction first. See the tree, see the trunk, see that branch. You just keep moving from one point to another point to another point to another point. That is the definitions here. And why he is specifying that, insisting on this as indicative definitions, pointers, not defining Brahman, is because there is a hidden message there. The hidden message is, do not get involved with the words. The problem is, the moment we pick up a word, and each word is so beautiful, each word communicates the idea of what is Brahman, what is God, Atman, self, all this. Each word is superb. And somewhere down the line, you will get involved with any one of those words, or to the group of words. So some words combined or individually, you will get involved. So first thing he says is, use those words and then go beyond the words. Don't get involved, because words are all finite. Even the word infinite is finite. See, words are finite. That can never capture that which is infinite. So the words, so what you have to do, sir, you gain this understanding and go beyond the words. So understand the limitations of the words. So what are you supposed to do? Right now, you are having a fracture. With the fractured leg, you cannot walk. So what you have to do? Use a walker to walk. How long? And when you use a walker to walk, it is so comfortable and convenient, actually. Your walking gets so convenient. It's so comfortable. You can walk. Right through your life, if you are going to be holding on to that walking stick or to the walker, what does it mean? That is wrong. Not using the walker to walk when you have fracture is wrong. Not using the walker is also wrong. Using the walker is also wrong. Both are wrong. Now we'll get angry. Hey, tell one thing, man. Should I use it or not? We'll say, use it and then discard it. That way we find very, very difficult to understand. That's why they give this example. See? So try to do this. First point. Don't get involved with the words. First. Second point you need to remember is this. Use it and go beyond it. Don't get stuck with it. 2. Third one you need to remember is, before studying, before we go into the pointers, study. When we start explaining the pointers, you'll say, these pointers are not designed for explanation. This is not for Shravanam. In a very technical language, this portion, this 15 paragraph that we are going to see now, because he is giving 15 pointers are there, 15 words he is using now. This next 15 paragraphs are not going to be, are not designed for explanation. Then what is it for? This is to be used in 2 stages. This is more for your manana and nididhyasana. Manana, I suppose you are all familiar with. Manana means reflection. Going over the same thing again and again. Same idea, same concept again and again is called manana. Nididhyasana is the next step. Manana clarifies your doubt. Right? All your samshayas, doubts, all your samshayas goes off. Nididhyasana is designed, Nididhyasana you do for removing your viparita bhavana this. Right? In spite of understanding, you will say, I am not experiencing it. I am not able to taste it. I am not seeing it myself. Now, again, all these words are having limitations. See, this is the problem. The moment I say experiencing it, immediately you will say what? Sir, experiencing means there are 2. There is experiencer, there is experienced. Duality has come in, out. Seeing it, again, there is a seer and seen. Out. So what to say now? We have to use words only to communicate. There is no other option. So nididhyasana, what you do in manana and nididhyasana, in a simpler language, in manana, you read all these things as the pointers or attributes of Brahman. That is manana. When you read the same thing as your attributes, that is called nididhyasana. You see all these things as the qualities defining what God is. About God, if you say, that is manana. When you say all these attributes are about me, Ekam, Advayam, Nirakara, Sarvagatam, etc. All this, when you read, you say all these things belongs to me. That is what I am. Because we keep using the word I all the time, isn't it? Don't say when you go to somebody's house, what are you? Who are you? Say Ekam. They think that's your name. This is not for the social I'm talking about. In the social circle, you can do whatever you want. We are not discussing about what you tell others. When you conceive about yourself, when you ask the question, who am I, to yourself, what I am, to yourself, there you have to attribute, I am Ekam. I am one. Are you one? That's what a man said. There is no such thing called individuality, because individuality presupposes there is an individual, one fellow inside you. When there is a crowd inside you, how can you call yourself to be individual? He said, forget about Brahman law. I'm Atman, Brahman, and all that, forget about that part. He says, when there is a crowd of people living inside you, because there are too many things parallelly happening in you, isn't it? One part of you is saying one thing, another part of you is saying another thing, another part of you is believing in another thing. You feel one thing, you think one thing, you do one thing, you say one thing. So much is there in you. What I think, you think about me. And what you think about me has got nothing to do with what I am. So, what are you according to me? And that you is having an opinion about me. That is the opinion I believe that you carry about me. There's a total crowd there. Now, don't ask me to repeat all this. It's not possible. What are you? When you use the word I, to you, what is it? We don't know, we don't understand that. You see, so therefore, we say these pointers are given to us more for reflection and contemplation. But however, you have to start with listening first. Then you have to do it on your own. Shravanam. First, you have to listen. We are going to, treat it at the level of Shravanam only. Now, I'm not going to be treating at the level of Manana here. What does it mean? It means I am not going to do a detailed analysis of each point. That's what it means. Long and short of it is, why all that story I'm giving you is, I'm not going to do a detailed analysis. Why I'm not going to do the detailed analysis is because this is designed for Manana. And Manana immediately don't say, I'm going to think originally. Okay, now I'm going to start, okay, Ekam. Now I'm going to sit and contemplate. Ekam, 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 Ekam. That's not, please. That is not what is meant by that. Then what is meant? Originality will come over a period of time. But in the initial stages of Shravanam, what are you supposed to do? You just have to follow the same sequence of reasoning. Don't alter the reasoning steps. You don't change it. You go over that same reasoning steps again and again and again. A point would come where your intellect will get saturated with this idea. Out of that saturation, originality will come. You can't strive to be original. That is not possible. See, exactly like a student who is studying law. For example, a law student, when they are trying to explain things when they are studying, they have to use those same words. They cannot write it on their own. I'm going to write about law on my own, it will not be allowed. They'll fail you. But once you have graduated, once you have grown, a stage would come where you become an authority in that field, and then the words that you are using will become the reference point for everybody. Till such time, what are you supposed to do? In the formative stages, in the learning stages. Like I always give this example. When you are writing now, you have to write. You just take a pen, paper, start writing. But when you have to teach a kindergarten student to write, how do you teach? Keep a finger in between, isn't it? Every word you have to keep a finger and then write the next word. Right? Keep a finger, next word. Keep a finger, next word. That is how you used to teach. Only then you will get this proper handwriting. Even though my teachers told me, I never followed. But I got the point. But I didn't follow. I said, that's what I'm supposed to do, no? Yeah, that's enough for me. So that I can go out and tell everyone in the world, what are you supposed to do? Keep a finger and write, keep a finger and write. But now when you are writing, do you keep a finger every time? Now you don't keep, you just write. And it falls exactly. You know, there are people who have that. It's like you can worship that. Their handwriting. Ask them to put a signature. 10 signatures, one after the other. All 10 exactly same. No difference. Now, bank life, I go, there is a big problem. Signature in the front side is one, signature in the other side is something else. They say, whose is this? I say, it's my signature only. Amazing it is. How they master that. How they practice it, sir. The practice is different. Right? But when they have mastered it, it is very different. Similarly, when you are in the initial stages of Mananam, the rules are different. When you come to the advanced stage of Mananam, the rules are different. So initial stage of Mananam is what? You go through in the same sequence. Don't try to bring in any original thinking here. See, original thinking, if you bring in, you will be in trouble. So carefully follow this sequence. Now, of course, when I'm explaining, I will give you little more details. Okay, so that you will have some material for you to think over. Otherwise, it will be too difficult for people to relate to. Right? So he gives about 15 pointers are there. Right. So every time when you are reading these qualities, once in a while you can just put it across as this is my attribute. Because the inspiration that you get when we discuss about mind, the excitement that we get when we discuss about nature of mind, you will not get that much of excitement when you are talking about Brahman, which is actually your attribute. At least you have to fake it, initially. At least faking will give something here. But don't try to overdo faking. The faking you do when in the class you fake it. That's all. After the class, don't try to fake it on your own. In the classroom, whenever we say Brahman, immediately within brackets you put as I. Atman, we say put as I. Because every time we say body, immediately your body comes into picture, isn't it? The moment we say attachment, immediately you start thinking about your attachments. Whenever we say, do you know, what thinking, man? Immediately you attribute it to yourself, I. So any comments that is made about the body, any comments made about the mind, any comments made about the intellect is directly equated to I. But the comments made about Brahman is not equated to I. Making that connection is called Nididhyasa. You can't start with it. Don't try. You know, I am Ekam, I am Ekam, I am Ekam. No, don't try all that. You can try, nothing will happen. But it will not work. That's all I'm saying. So we have few pointers given here. Then we also understand these words are not capable of capturing this Brahman individually, also collectively. Can they capture it collectively also, sir? No. Collectively also they cannot capture. So even, at least in that example that is given, collectively point A and point B can capture point C. But here, collectively all these words put together also cannot capture Brahman. That is the problem. What is it? Fascinating qualities he gives. Each attribute, each pointer, each definition gives a fantastic glimpse, idea of what that Brahman could be, at least what they are talking about. So there are 15 here. If you read all 15, after 5 minutes, everyone will fall off to sleep. Right? And one by one also it will be too fast. So I say you do as 5 from Ekam to Nirguna. Read that. Then next 5, next 5. Three breaks we can take and read. Otherwise, you'll not be able to go through this one. You'll fall off to sleep. Yes.
Ekam, one. Brahman, the supreme God, is said to be one. There exists nothing but the one reality, Brahman. The pluralistic phenomena is a superimposition upon that one. Yet Brahman remains the same, just as the mind remains one, even as the pluralistic phenomena of dream objects and beings arise from it. Advayam, non-dual. The definition of the reality being one creates the impression of a boundary around it, which means that something exists beyond it. Since nothing exists other than Brahman, it cannot strictly be defined as one, hence said to be non-dual. Nirakara, formless. An object takes a form where there is something other than the material of the object beyond its boundary. If there is nothing other than the object to define its boundary, it can have no form. Anything all-pervading cannot have a form. Since Brahman alone exists, there is nothing other than Brahman to create its form, hence considered formless. Sarvagatam, all-pervading. Brahman alone exists, nothing else. It pervades everywhere. If not so, there would be a place it has not accessed. That would restrict it, limit it. Since Brahman is limitless, infinite, it has to be all-pervading. Nirguna, attributeless. Substances have properties, qualities, attributes. They are perishable. If attributes are given to Brahman, it would be reduced to a substance and rendered perishable. Since Brahman is not a perishable substance, it is attributeless.
Ekam, one. They said there is one Atman. If there is only one Atman, then if one person realizes, everyone should realize. No? Isn't it? It's only one Atman. And any one person realizes, everyone gets a release. So I asked, it's chasing me, going around the dining table to escape. What is this? This. I am one Atman, you are one Atman, this is one Atman, that is one Atman. If everybody is one Atman, then there is many Atmas. So I have to realize my Atma independently. You have to realize your Atman independently. He has to realize his Atman independently, which means there are many Atmas. Says no, there are not many. There is only one. Ekam. There is only one. So immediately he'll say, oh, does it mean you mean to say, sir, there is only one God? Atman, Brahman, God is all same thing. No. So he'll say, yeah, correct, sir. Only one God. Immediately they come and say, no, there is a mistake. No, Vedanta is not saying there is only one God. Vedanta is saying there is only God. That is the meaning of Ekam. When you say there is only one God, there is a problem. There is a fallacy there. Then immediately he says, sir, what about all that if there is only one, there is only God, what about that Nama Rupa that we are all experiencing all around us? I'm seeing many pluralities. No? How do you account for all this pluralistic phenomena? How do you explain that? He gives the example, exactly like the pluralistic phenomena experienced in the dream. Just as the pluralistic objects and beings and things, everything that you have seen in the dream is nothing but mind. Same way, there is only one. This is the way it is explained in the comparison, Upamana. Right. Another one they give is the same thing is taught to us in the form of a story also. Same Ekam. Same one God is explained in the form of a story. Then the same Ekam can be explained through logic. Tarka. For every one you can do like that. For every quality, we study like that. I'm not going to do that. That is why I said I'm not going to deal with it in detailed elaboration. Then you will get involved in that. See, so first thing we understand is this. What is this? Very simple one is comparison. Second one we do is through the form of a story. In the form of a story. In Bhagavatam, the story comes. The point, a portion where this Garva Bhanga of Brahma, where he broke the ego of Lord Brahma. What did he do? Lord Brahma wanted to see the real power of Krishna. So what he did was, one day when all these cowherd boys, they take this cows to the pasture lands and they bring back in the evening. Today, if they do, we call that as child labor. Right? In those days, that is the norm. All the kids have to take. And Krishna also would go along with them. He has to take the cows, take them to the grass, pasture land, and then protect those cows from the attack of the wild animals. And ensure that they don't go beyond their sight, all that they have to do. So he was doing all that. So one day, what Brahma did was, he abducted, kidnapped the cows, also the cowherd boys. All of them he kidnapped and took them and hid them in Brahmaloka. Right? To see, now let's see what Krishna does. And he kidnaps those people and they take, puts them there, and he comes back. When he is coming back, he goes into this Gokula to see all those people who should be crying and lamenting, you, what happened to my child? Where is the child? Nothing. And everyone is happily living there. No cry, nothing. Everyone is so happy there. And Brahma gets really surprised. How is it possible? These people have lost their cow, they lost their kids. How can they lose a child? How can they be happy? Suddenly he goes and walks into the house and he sees the boy who he kidnapped is there, standing there. And he goes to the cow shed, the cow is standing there. And the calf is there. The rope which is tied, that is there. Everything is there. And Brahma got confused. How is it possible? And that's where Krishna shows what is actually there. What is there? That cow is Krishna. That calf is Krishna. The rope that is tied is Krishna. The cowherd boy is Krishna. This one is Krishna. That one is everywhere. It's only Krishna there. Krishna himself had become all that. But there is what? There is only one Krishna. Are there many? No. There is only one. Ekam. The concept of Ekam explained in the Upanishads were presented in the Puranas through the form of a story. Magnifying. Don't try to read all these things in the history. That's what people do. I tell them it is only a way to escape from studying the scripture. You see, what is the period of Shankara? Is it 7th century or 12th century? Is Srikanta appeared before Shankara or after Shankara? There is a fight. Say, why you are doing all that? It is only to escape from studying what is given by Shankara, what is given by Srikanta. We don't want to study both. So what do? At the same time, we wanted to project as though we are doing some great research. What is it? Unnecessary details. This is the problem of Puranic study. Puranic study, when you do, what they do is this. They explain it through a story, and that story always should have some masala with it. Some exaggeration has to be there. Magnification itself means what? You are magnifying something to see it because it is so subtle. The message given in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, so subtle, not easy to be captured by a common man. So what we need to do, we need to have a magnifying glass. I don't know how many of you have seen that. There are people who read newspaper with magnifying glass. Why? The eyesight is so poor. Our intellectual eyesight today is so pathetic. We need these things. Is it magnified? It needs to be magnified. And they are so compassionate to present the magnified one also in the form of Puranas. So that is the story form of understanding Ekam. What is Ekam? Put within brackets. Ekam, Bhagavatam, Brahma, kidnap, Krishna. You will understand what is Ekam means. This is Puranic way of understanding the idea Ekam. Then we have using Pratyaksha not possible. Anumanam is the next one. Using logic, using Tarka. Using Tarka, we try to detect. How do we say the self, Atman, Brahman, all that? How do we say the self is one? There is only one self. What is the proof? What is the proof for oneself? Logically, you have to derive it. There is a logic they give for that. This is what I said. You have to do it, go over the same sequence of reasoning, same sequence of Upamana, same sequence of story, all that. You can't be creating a reasoning for yourself to say how Brahman, Atman, self is Ekam. How Atma is Ekam. I'm just giving a sample of one point to study in little detail. Now, if I have to do all 15 points like this in detail, we'll not be able to complete the book. We do these points here and there whenever we get a chance. Today we have a chance to study about Ekam. That's the first point. So we just take it as Ekam and study. So we have seen Ekam from the point of Purana, and we have seen from the angle of Upamana. Puranic reasoning, comparison. Comparison is dream. In the dream, there is pluralistic phenomena, but all that you see in the dream is nothing but one waker's mind. So all that is only one. This is comparative study. Then here we say, what is Anumana? Inferential. Inferential one. How do you infer? There has to be only one Atma. Derivation for that. Okay. I am seeing you all. Pratyaksha is the base for all reasoning for us. For any Anumana, foundation is Pratyaksha. Seeing. Like you would have seen. Classic example you give always. Anumana, inference. Immediately everyone will remember. What is it, sir? Smoke, fire. You see smoke at a distance, fire is the, you conclude there is fire. Isn't it? Same way. Here inference is what? I see. I see you all. Correct? So I am one Atma. I am seeing very many Atmas. Right. Each one of you is one individual Atma. Then what are you doing? You are one individual Atma, seeing many Atmas, including me. Correct? I see, you see in front of. So I see you all in front of me. If you are all one individual Atma, seen by me, then there has to be many Atmas. Correct? But then, the one who is seeing is Atma. That there is no doubt about it. None of us have the doubt. Right? Sir, I am seeing you. When you say, I am seeing you doesn't mean I seeing. I am seeing you through eyes. Remember that. This is what we mean when we say, I am seeing you. Means, I am seeing you, who you, Atma, assuming that. I am seeing you, Atma. So, how this seeing is happening? Through eyes, I am seeing. Correct? I am seeing doesn't mean my eye is seeing. Eye is not seeing. Eye is used by me to see. The legs are used by me to walk and reach to another place. Hand is used by me to take the glass to drink. So who is drinking? I am drinking, but using what? Using my hand. This is what we see. Okay. But then what I am seeing doesn't see me at all. Follow this carefully. This is called tarka. I am seeing through eyes you all. Whatever is in front of me, you are all in front of me. I am seeing you. Okay. But what I am seeing never sees me. Isn't it? What's the proof? What I am seeing is only your body. Correct? According to you, are you body? Because exactly like my reasoning, I am different, sir. Seer who is seeing through body. Go back to theory of perception class. That's why these tarkas we cannot give in the initial stages. That's why we say as the text gets heavier, only we can study certain things. Earlier, if we present it, it will just go overboard. We can't relate to it at all. The assumption now here is, since you have studied theory of perception, you should be able to follow the reasoning by now. The seer is different from the eye which is seeing. The seer is Atma. This Atma, the self, is seeing through the body. What it is seeing? It is seeing only the body. Correct? Is it seeing another Atma? Never sees another Atma. It is sees only this. What is the proof? Na? What is seen never sees. If I see your Atma and you see my Atma, then we can discuss there are two Atmas. Correct? We can discuss there are two bodies. Yes, Ishwaran, your nose is different, my nose is different. Correct. Why? Because you can see a nose there, I can see a nose here. But the problem here is, I have no doubt about the existence of my Atma. My existence. I have doubted the existence of God. A lot of people had the doubt about God's existence. His God is there, his ghost is there, his devil there, all that. Extraterrestrial beings, are they there? So many things you are doubted. But one thing we never have a doubt is, do I exist? It will be absurd to ask that question, isn't it? Do I exist? How can you ask that question? Because the fact that you are asking the question is a proof that you are existing. So, my existence is there. So, what is that? My Atma, I have no doubt about existence. But is there another Atma which is seen? No. What is seen never sees. This is the reasoning. So, if I see this Atma sees another Atma and another Atma sees this Atma, then there is a possibility of two Atmas. and more Atmas. This Atma is seeing what? Is seeing many bodies, not Atma. It's not seeing. Same way, from everyone's angle, there is only what? Only one Atma. There is no multiple. What I am seeing is only body, not Atma. Therefore, all of us have to come to conclusion. If this Atma sees another Atma, then there is a possibility for us to discuss. Here, what is it? This never happens. Since that is not happening, how many Atmas are there? Because finally the proof is what? You should see no. If it is there, you should be able to see it. It's not there. But you can't say there is no Atma at all. Does it mean there is zero Atmas? No, no, no. There is neither zero Atma, nor there is many Atmas. Then neither zero, not two. Between 0 and 2, what is? Ekam. This is Tarka. This is logic. So how you study Ekam is this is how you study. This is how you reflect. How you ought to reflect is like this. Because this cannot be taught through, by more listening, you will not get it. You see, that's why I'm not intending to go in detail. Just study a little bit. So just to give you an indication, I have just taken this Ekam. Look at it from 3 different levels. First one is very easy. This is Purana, story. For each one, we can give one story. And don't ask me. Okay. Immediately don't send a quick question to me. Sir, what is the story for, Advayam? What is the story for, Aksharam and all that? I'm not going to give all that. So what you need to study is like this. First, Puranic one, then comparison, then inference. One story, one comparison, one inference. And inference is very difficult. But the most powerful one is that inferential. Very powerful, that is, the reasoning. And you have to, even to follow the logic, you need to stay with it for a time. Yeah. Correct? No, we say. Only then we understand. Initially, it will look like, conflicting. We say, no, there is no, there are many. Are there many? No, there is only one. Then immediately they come and correct it. That is the beauty of these masters. The moment you read Ekam, and with all this explanation, you are going to conclude saying what? Now I got it. Brahman means what, sir? Ekam. There is only one Atma, one Brahman. And Brahman is one. That's it. I got it. Immediately they say, no, you are wrong. Why? The moment you use the word Ekam, and this Ekam is nothing but what? Ekam gives the impression of a boundary. So you cannot call it as Ekam also. Ekam is also has a problem. What is the problem in Ekam, sir? All that we are understanding, where understandings are all happening at the level of the intellect. Isn't it? Whether it is a story or it is comparison or it is inference, all this is conceived and understood, followed by the intellect. And intellect always can operate only in the medium of duality. Any intellectual experience. Why? The moment we say that, immediately there are 2 things. Subject, object, created. Minimum. Minimum 2. Right. Minimum there has to be 2 for the intellect to operate. So the moment we say this, So when we say one, there is a boundary, there is a problem there. So immediately they give a negative definition. One is a positive definition, Ekam. Same thing, negated. They give that definition, they give you a concept, they give you to conceive something. When you are about to capture it, they negate it. How do you do that negation, sir? Immediately they said no to. Sir, isn't it no to means one? It is no to. This negation, Advayam, is used in the sense of negation. What is negation, sir? All that is known to you is negated, rejected. What is this? What are all this? If you say one, immediately, maybe, why not two? Why not two Atman? Sir, from your angle, one Atman. From my angle, one Atman. From his angle, one Atman. From her angle, there is Atman. So, from your angle, one Atma. From my angle, one Atma. From his angle, one Atma. From her angle, one Atma. Therefore, there are four Atmas, no? Ekam. If you leave it at Ekam, this is the confusion will come next. So to correct that, immediately they come back and say, no, it is Advayam. There is no two. Yes. One indicates there is something existing. See, there is something existing away from multiplicity. What is it, sir? Immediately we have intellectually conceptualized two things. Many versus one. The moment we say one, you understand one only with reference to what? As opposite of many. So immediately many, and then there is one. What is it, sir? It's a concept. And they have to demolish that concept. Because Brahman is not a concept. So they say Advayam. There is nothing like one. Then what is it, sir? No, it's not many also. It is not existing zero also. It is not one also. It is first stage, what they say is, it is not existing. No, it is existing. Proved. Then, does it mean there are many? They said, no, there are not many. There is one. Now they are saying, it is neither one. It's not even one. So what is it now? It is not zero. It is not many. It is not one. Then, no two. Very, very interesting way of explaining. How much they would have thought is very interesting. Because one implies certain things. Those implications are there. What is the implication? Implication is there is a boundary. There is a boundary for one. When you say no to, there is no boundary. You have. So, first is word Ekam removes, brings you to a point. And then Advayam is another arc. This is one arc. It puts beautiful covering. This covers. Fantastically it is painted. The moment you get, oh, this is where is it? Immediately it puts another thing and says, no, there. So look in that direction. Yes. This is the second one. Say it is Advayam. There is no boundary to it. You can't put a particular boundary. This is one. Beyond that is many things. That's a boundary. Intellectually, we conceive it like that. So he says it is Advayam. Nirakara. A form. A form means what? A form has to be made up of a particular substance, material. And it is not a substance. Therefore, there is no form to it. There is a material. There is no form. Same way, Sarvagatam, all-pervading. It is everywhere. All-pervading. All-pervasiveness means what? It is existing everywhere. Because there is nothing other than that existing to limit it. If there is one more thing existing, then this can limit this. Isn't it? There is nothing other than. And anything which is all-pervading cannot have a form. So, Ekam, boundary is collapsed. Once a boundary is collapsed, it is not having a form. If it is not having a form, it has to be all-pervading. That's the sequence. All these words were given out in a beautiful sequence. You can derive a sequence. Don't try to do all the time, please. One after the other. The ideas were given here. One. Not many Atmas. First, it's not that there is no Atma. There is Brahman, there is Atman. Then, is it one or many? It's not many. One. No. One, it's not even one. It is no two. Because there cannot be a boundary. If it is not having a boundary, it is not made up of any substance. It cannot have a form. If it is not having a form, it has to be all-pervading. This is the thing. Nirguna. You studied Nirguna also, no? Did you read? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nirguna. Nirguna means there is no property. Why? Any property, the nature of guna is perishable. Any quality will perish. There's no single quality which is always there. It will perish over a period of time. If Brahman were to have properties, then it cannot. So therefore, Ekam is not a property of Brahman. Nirguna, immediately he comes. Otherwise, what will happen? You will say, the property of Brahman is Ekam, the property of Brahman is Advayam, property of Brahman is Nirakara, etc. He says it is Nirguna. There is no guna, there is no quality for it, there is no properties for it. Because guna by nature is perishable. That is why infinite. That's why when they define God, they immediately say God is infinite love, infinite power. They'll never say just power. They'll never say it is just love. God is love. No, God is infinite mercy. We'll never say God has mercy because we also have mercy. Then what is the difference? His mercy is infinite, unlimited. What is the meaning of unlimited mercy? Infinite mercy. Why do we have to add that immediately to it? Because it's not a property that we understand. Because we have a understanding of love, there is a limitation to our understanding of love. But his love, his compassion, his mercy cannot be confined with all this. I have power. My power has a limitation. God also has power. Then what's the difference between my power and his power? His power is limitless. And what is the meaning of limitless power? A limitless power can never be called as power, isn't it? A limitless love can never be called as love. Infinite mercy can never be called as mercy. It's not possible. Why? Understanding mercy is a concept. The moment you say infinite, you have broken it. After breaking it, so then why they define it like that? So that whatever you wish in your life, they say God has that unlimited. That's all. But then when you have to discuss about God, they say by himself or by herself, by itself. There is no property. There's no specific quality, no attributes. Yes, Nirguna. Why? Because any guna property is perishable. This is imperishable. And again, Nirguna cannot be conceived. Because guna we can conceive. A property can be conceived. All our knowledge, remember, the moment we say conception, knowledge and all that, it means there is a form, nama, rupa, guna, karma. Only this can be conceived. If anything beyond this cannot be conceived. So Brahman, what is Brahman? It is Nirguna. Negative. They don't say you can't conceive Brahman. The moment they say you can't conceive Brahman, we will flip the paragraph. Then why are you wasting your time, sir? We'll immediately say, then why should I waste my time? Anyway, I'm not going to understand Brahman. So then why waste time? Let's go back to the discussion about body, mind, intellect. They said, no. That is not the way you relate here. So, Ekam, Advayam, Nirakara, Sarvagatam, Nirguna. Fortunately, you are having a break. See, otherwise, if you continue reading it, you will, only two things will happen. Either your mind will get distracted or you'll fall off to sleep. You can't stay with it for a long period of time. It is not easy. When we discuss about body, when we discuss about mind, you discuss politics, you can sit and watch. For hours together, you can sit and watch. Nothing will happen to you. You can sit and listen to it. There's no problem. The rest, we discuss about this, very difficult, to stay. Good that you are taking it's time now. So 10 more are there. We'll try to cover it in the next class. This another 10 qualities or the pointers. It's wrong to say qualities. Another indicative definitions of Brahman. See you.